Om Shri Ganeshaya Namo Namah. Greetings to everyone world over, all our brothers and sisters across the globe. Green morning, green afternoon, green evening, wherever you are world over. We extend you a very warm welcome to yet another powerful evening. This evening, we are going to dedicate to micro, small, and medium enterprise, and we are going to focus on services sector in India's economy. And what could be the career opportunities for the youth as far as service industry is concerned? What can they look forward to, and what all is available for them? Let's talk about that, and we take that into consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, hearty welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us on Thursday evening. And we are going to share with you because International MSME Day is coming on 27th of June. That's also going to be Thursday, and today is also Thursday. Okay, so 27th June, world over, it is being celebrated as Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise International Day. No, why not? Why not? Because this is such an important occasion. Because MSME contributes so much to the world. Whether you talk about GDP, you talk about employment, you talk about economic multiplier, you talk about global growth, you talk about facilities, services, whatever we talk about. Economy we have got in three parts. We have got agriculture, we have got manufacturing, and we have got pure services. That is also called the tertiary sector. Okay, so we're going to focus on services sector because our chamber is for service industry, and we focus on that. Of course, we are having nowadays a series with you on travel and tourism, how India would shape up when we would be celebrating 100 years of ours, so 2047. But in between, we are giving you small, small teasers, curtain raisers, so that we all move with the times. So today, let's talk about some important areas where there could be a career opportunities, because everybody is looking forward to employment, entrepreneurship, startup, self employment. मुझे किसी भी तरीके से कहीं भी कोई रोजगार दिलवाइए जो मेरी पसंद का हो और मुझे अच्छा वैल्यू उससे मिले. So ladies and gentlemen, our focus MSME service industry. Let's talk about it. I'll take on a couple of segments with you, and then we will take up how the things are. Let me just go back way back in 2017 and 18. Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, it identified 12 champion sectors of service industry. And 28 February 2018, there was a big announcement, document, 5,000 crore being allocated and 12 champion sectors being taken care of as far as service industry is concerned. If you talk about Ministry of MSME, it's also an offshoot which has come out of the Ministry of Commerce and Industries. 2006 onward, you had the separate entity, identity, and that is the way things have moved up. When I talk about services components and service sectors, we gave the roadmap, we gave the strategic papers, we gave the blueprints to the Ministry of MSME right in 2018 as well as in 2019. We had been meeting the ministry officials and we requested them as a policy document, try and incorporate as far as services are concerned as a separate entity and try and give some kind of a leverage like you're giving it to manufacturing sector. When you go with your services sector proposal to the banks, they say machine kahan hai, kahan machine lagegi, kis tarike ki machine hogi. Now services is intangible. Services cannot be stored. Services can be only felt. If I'm giving consultancy services, तो मैं अपनी brain power दे रहा हूं ना, मैं आपको intellectual capital दे रहा हूं ना. So couple of things are there. Of course, services and products we will mix like you go to the hotel. How the service is being done is altogether different. But what exactly the contents and the condiments, and when you talk about the food part which is being served to you over there is a product. Let me just talk about the pandemic times. Okay, 2018 and 19, when we gave all the documents to Ministry of MSME, they were gaga, they were extremely happy, and they say, yes, this sector is coming up. And Secretary Dr. Pandasa, very encouraging, very positive, very dynamic, always supportive. And same goes with his second in command, and that is Rammohan Mishra ji. He was also very, very supportive. And then we went to NSIC. I still recall Ravindranath ji. He was the CMD, Chairman and Managing Director, right in Okla. When you go to National Small Scale Industry, very dynamic person, very, very innovative and a forward-looking person, positive person all the time. So this golden triangle, secretary, the additional secretary and chairman and managing director, NSIC, we worked on a couple of strategies and finally they accepted. Unfortunate part, the pandemic had come and the joint secretary holding who was holding and having discussions with us on service industry, he passed away during pandemic. Thereafter, what development took place, I'm not aware of much, but we are very happy 25th of March 2020, complete lockdown. 11th of May, March lockdown, April had gone, May. 11th of May 2020, the Honorable Prime Minister of India announced Atmanirbhar Bharat package. And he gave the incentives, what all is to be done if India has to become self-reliant. And just after 2 days, 11th, the Prime Minister spoke, 13th of May 2020, the Honorable Finance Minister of India, Shrimati Nirmala Sitharamanji, she made an announcement, a historic announcement. We were so very happy that we forgot how many nights we had spent basically preparing those documents. She made an announcement on 13th of May 2020, where she gave that from today onwards, the services sector and manufacturing sector definition in the MSME will be at par when you talk about micro, when you talk about small, and when you talk about medium. Earlier, only the equipment part was being taken into consideration. Now, the new definition took place, and that you can see in the MSME website, where your turnover is also being taken into consideration. So, ladies and gentlemen, 13th of May 2020 is the most important day as far as we recall and remember. Now, let's move ahead. What exactly was there in that concept paper, that roadmap, which we had submitted to the government of India? Let me just go one by one. Can you recall which particular segment suffered maximum during pandemic? It was travel and tourism. It was the first bird to be hit, first shot which was there, the complete thing coming to standstill. No domestic tourism, no inbound tourism, no outbound tourism, travel agents, tour operator, tourist transporter, tourist excursionist, domestic tour operator, international tour operator, everybody coming to standstill. And tourism directly related to hospitality industry. And when you talk about hotel and hospitality industry, your restaurants, your kitchen, your all food outlets, everything was standstill. They suffered such a big setback. It was service industry. Still, when you talk about, because the golden triangle, when I talk about, is travel and tourism, it's hospitality, and it's airline. All three stranded, standing, just on the ground, no activity. Can you imagine how many people suffered at that point of time from this industry? They need a lot of hand holding. We'll talk about that some other day in detail. Okay, let's move ahead. During pandemic, the medical services, education services, food services, whatever was being served to you, it was services. It was service industry which kept on the economy going on. You had everybody taking care of those things, and that was service industry, ladies and gentlemen. So let me just run around. Of course, there are 54 different verticals. I'm not going to touch all of them, but briefly, if I share with you, travel and tourism is one, hospitality related outlets is number two, entertainment related, radio, television, theater, music, films, animation, digital, whatever is taking place is once again to keep you amused, to keep you happy, to keep you going, to keep you agile. Everything in entertainment industry, your film, Bollywood, Bollywood, Tollywood, Hollywood, anything you talk about, this all is services. Then comes your, do you remember during pandemic how teachers had put in their best of efforts through radio, through television, through internet, through whatever modes were available, they came. So education services, quality education services, need-based education services, and all the time our chamber keeps talking about making education and skills relevant. That is something very important which we all have to take into consideration. So education and skills. Now, somebody opening a coaching center in Arunachal Pradesh, all the way in Zero, or in Itanagar, or in Bandardeva, or in Pasighat, or for that, Olo, or for that matter, even Zero. I mean, any place you talk about, that is your education related services, your coaching centers, your tuition centers. Look at Kota. What kind of coaching services? Go to Delhi, Lakshmi Nagar area, and then Mukherjee Nagar, all that places when you talk about, oh my God, there's a flood of all that. Okay, let's come on to IT and IT enabled services. More than 50% exports from India of services sector, it's in IT and IT enabled services. And you know, artificial intelligence is coming like a tsunami. And I was just listening to Mr. Khan, the Khan's Academy, you know, the gentleman head of that, 2004 onward when he started 20 years. And today his new book has come. And if you go through that particular book, you will come to know how technology is seeping in all areas. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to utilize artificial intelligence and all these services basically as tools to facilitate the job. Roles will change, but jobs will not disappear. The new jobs will come up, new innovations will come up. Humanity has to move on, humanity has to go on. You cannot stop this tsunami and this flood. This will come up. Let's move ahead a little bit more. One of the most important services is your financial services. And you know, when you talk about UPI, when you talk about all the outlets which are making your banks and financial institutions, insurance services, mutual fund services, other kind of financial services. Financial services is the backbone for making MSME to grow. If the banks give the right quantity and the right package to the right people at the right time, at the right place, the country grows because MSME is the backbone. रीढ़ की हड्डी अगर development के लिए है, तो that is MSME sector. That's what I learned in a very humble way from Rabindranath ji, who is the chairman now of our, the vertical which is dealing with MSME segment. Let me go a little more onto that. Airports, airlines, airport, all the retail outlets which are available at the shopping part and other facilities, what you've got, departure lounge, arrival lounge, other services. And at the same time, you go to big shopping malls, you go to small kirana shops, everywhere, it's a retail services. Okay, let's go a little more. You want to remain healthy. So device, there's a more focus on wellness, health and wellness services. During pandemic, everybody realized what is the importance of Ayurveda, homeopathy, Unani, traditional medicines, along with allopathic, with that booster dose, you just took के काढ़ा ले लो, कहवा ले लो, ये सब चीजें लो, गरम रखो, नाक में तेल डालो, सब चीजें डालो, बॉडी का सिस्टम ठीक रखो. और डॉक्टर परमेश्वर अरोड़ा, आई कैन नेवर एवर फॉरगेट, ही यूज्ड टू टेल मी, सरसों के तेल का कुल्ला करो और सरसों के तेल को अपने नॉस्ट्रिल्स में लगाओ. That will never allow any bad elements to go inside your body, and you will not have any problem during Corona. During Corona times, I had been going out distributing the food packets at different stations, different places. And ladies and gentlemen, I personally feel you've got to be taking care of your health and your wellness services. Let's go a little more farther. Sales, marketing, public relation, advertising, communication, corporate communication. All this is services. Let's go a little more. BPO, KPO, LPO, legal services, financial services, whatever is coming online, that part is also very important. Telecommunication, जियो ने आपके पास अगर जियो का कनेक्शन कोरोना के टाइम में ना होता, how the things would have been and how we would have felt, that is once again you got to be taking into consideration. अब आप देखिए टेलीकम्युनिकेशन के साथ साथ आ जाइए रियल एस्टेट सर्विसेज. Construction services. A lot of Indians are going abroad, working in Middle East, working at other places and all that. They are into construction. They are into real estate. This area also booming. Once again, it's a services, transportation services. You've got road transport, you've got rail transport, you've got cruise transport, you've got all kind of a transportation. And particularly you see the road networks which have come up in India, it's an amazing. Railways, when you talk about Vande Bharat and other trains, it's all scintillating. It's sinking into the system so well. It's getting ducktailed so nicely into the entire arena so beautifully. Let's come on further. Research and consultancy services. You give consultancy to some organization to grow to the next level, to move up. You do the hand holding over there and you carry out the research element. If you see the new education policy 2020, there's a lot of emphasis which is being given to the services research part. That something is once again, then come on distribution services, your electricity, your water supply, your sewerage system, all that. Distribution is so many areas which you have to take into consideration. Then comes your professional services. That also you have to give it to people. They demand wonderful professional way of distributing everything, professional services. Then comes community services. You do a lot of work in your own community where you stay, where you live, where you teach, whatever is there. You've got to be taking care of those services also. Now, let's look at two areas. Economy has got three parts. We got agriculture part, we got manufacturing part, and we have got tertiary sector that's called services part. Agri products, whatsoever is being produced in the agri fields, they also have to come to market and they've got to be as services. Manufacturing, there is an automobile, there's a Mahindra and Mahindra beautiful Scorpio, but once it comes on the road, you require services. You got to need insurance services, driving license services, maintenance services, regular taking care of your vehicle services. All that is services. Okay, let's move ahead. Certain people with the age, you got to understand you're giving social services. You're serving the society the best possible way. And I personally feel coming every evening at 9 o'clock and sharing whatever I have learned in a very humble way. I'm still a student. I'm learning every day. I'm learning from all of you. Whatever feedback I get from all of you, I try and learn, relearn, uplearn, upskill, whatever is possible. The day I stop learning, I will stop. I'm going to say, I won't say I will stop growing, but I would say I will stop living. That part is very important. Learning and living, they go hand in hand. Let's come utility services. There are lots of utility services in our day-to-day life. Then comes very important area, services exports. Honorable Minister for Industry, Commerce and Industry, he has set a very ambitious target of 1 trillion US dollar equivalent services exports to be done from India. All that is possible. Everything is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, we strongly recommend people still feel when they know about services, when they think about services, they say armed forces services, IAS services, IPS services, IFS services, IES services, IRS services. They just think fire tender services, medical services. They just can't think beyond that. Whereas the services sector is very vast. It's a very big canvas. So what is the need of the hour? Our chamber strongly recommends there got to be, and that we gave in the roadmap also. I still recall there got to be a pan-India awareness program in all states, all union territories, where the entire service industry, tertiary sector, it has to be given in detail. Schools, colleges, universities, institutions. People say, students are not interested to take vocational subjects. It is not their fault. Are we giving them proper awareness? Are we giving them a proper kind of insight so that they understand? I think the times have changed and skills have become more important than pure academics. And that's why the new education policy, it's a historic moment, 29 July 2020. I sometimes wonder in the thick of the pandemic, how Honorable Prime Minister could think about that there should be a new education policy in India. So ladies and gentlemen, service sector, is going to grow. Service sector is entering almost all segments of our day-to-day life, our economy, and it is cutting across, your agri sector also, manufacturing sector also, and that's why our chamber has decided that when we are holding this program today and we are sharing the vision with you today, we wish to bring to your kind notice that 27th of June is the International MSME Day. Our Chamber for Service Industry will be holding in India one of the mega events at New Delhi International MSME Day Conference 2024, where all these stakeholders, when I talk about travel and tourism, hospitality, airlines, banking, financial institutions, entertainment, wellness, IT, ITES, and your education, your skills, your coaching, and besides that, all the verticals, those are directly or indirectly associated with service industry, directly or indirectly. We're going to invite all of them. This is just the teaser I'm giving you today. We'll have many more programs of this kind before 27th so that you understand what exactly services sector is. And finally, my appeal to all the bankers, all the MSME branches of the bankers, we would make a humble request to you. If you need any concept document, any supporting document, we are going to discuss with the policy department of the MSME as well. Let the election results get over. The ministries should get settled. Thereafter, we are going to discuss with the Ministry of MSME and service industry has to be given actually the real treatment at par with the manufacturing sector by the banks and the financial institution. That is the appeal we would like to make today. With these words, we come to this curtain raiser end today. And this is just a teaser I wanted to give you on service industry so that you understand there's so much to discuss, ladies and gentlemen of service industry. We'll keep sharing with you. We'll keep taking the vision for you. And there's a lot which we can take together. With these words, thank you very much for joining us today. Look forward meeting you tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. once again with yet another program. Stay fit, stay fine, take care of your health. And it's a wonderful green morning world over. And it's a green afternoon and it's a green evening